Wow, that was great. That was really, really something. The This is from I think the Montreal World's Fair. Um, so pretty great stuff. I like the crowd shots especially. The art is pretty good, and the music is beautiful. So, anyways, it's a really nice film. Hey, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. It's good to see everybody. Some of you joined us for the Home Movie Day event on Saturday. We got to watch a bunch of home movies and home videos, and there was some really great stuff in there. There was this amazing Chicago exposition that was dedicated to industry, and it was all of these musical numbers outside. And so there's all these people doing high kicks and dancing, and then this giant earth mover would go past, and then this kind of train would go past, and it was really something else. And there was people dangling from a rocket ship, and that was spinning in the. It was really something. So if you missed it, next time, it was really great. Let's see. I collect old 16mm films and show them to folks like you. And I've been doing it for almost 30 years. Thanks to folks who have already bought me some coffee over the weekend. That's what we do here at AV Geeks is thread up films, do cables, and drink coffee. So thank you for that support. This next film is also... that last film wasn't really about the future, but this film is about the future. And I love films from the past that look to the future, and this one's called Way Stations in Space, and it basically talks about how we're going to build a space station as kind of a place to go to before we go to the moon and other places. And that was one of the original strategies that was talked about before NASA, or as NASA was beginning formed, was that they would create an orbiting space station. We would stop there, fuel up, and then keep going. So here we go, way stations in space.
Twelve, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Hold it! Hold it! That thing will never go anywhere. You forgot one of the stages. There. Now you can launch it. Uncle Bill works with rockets. Jane, Bob, and Mike don't quite understand why rockets have to be fired in different stages. Uncle Bill explains that not all of them do. Just some of the big rockets that use liquid fuels. They need a vast amount of fuel to pull away from the Earth's gravity field. Rocket-propelled planes have been built, designed to take a man up to very high altitudes. To overcome the effect of gravity, the rocket plane is carried to high altitude by a large transport plane. If the cruiser were launched directly from the ground, much of its fuel would be used up in pulling away from the Earth's gravity field, which is strongest at the surface of the Earth. This makes the rocket plane the same in principle as the last stage of a multi-stage rocket. Both must be well away from the surface of the Earth before they are fired.
20 seconds to launch. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
For probing deeper into space, scientists have proposed another way of overcoming the problems of fuel and gravity. They propose space platforms, or way stations in space. Like the transport plane and the first stages of a multi-stage rocket, the way stations would provide a base from which a rocket may be launched. Various forms have been suggested, but a space station might look something like this. Such a space station might be built about 1,075 miles above the surface of the Earth. If it were farther out, it would be more difficult to send supplies. If it were closer, it would revolve around the Earth too quickly. It would, however, have to move fast enough to avoid being pulled down to the Earth by gravity. The Earth's gravity still pulls the station, of course, but the direction of the pull is changed by the satellite's forward motion. Instead of falling to the surface of the Earth, it keeps falling around the Earth. Station parts may be prefabricated on Earth, then delivered into orbit by transport rockets and assembled in space. Crewmen will arrive in the same orbit and travel at the same speed to carry out construction. The sections of the space station will be nearly weightless, and one man will be able to move objects that had to be lifted by huge cranes back on Earth. The men will be nearly weightless too, and will have small propulsion units attached to their spacesuits to help them move about. On the inside, the completed station would have to have its own artificial atmosphere. There would be very little pull of gravity to hold objects and people in place. To substitute for gravity, the station may be made to spin like a giant wheel. This would create centrifugal force and would give the occupants a feeling of gravity. They would be thrust outward toward the rim of the station. This would be down to them. Up would be toward the hub of the station. The way station may also be used for a research laboratory and for testing equipment for a journey farther into space. Besides the problems of getting into space, we also have the problem of returning to the Earth from space. As a rocket approaches the Earth from space, it gathers speed. It also meets increased friction as the atmosphere becomes more dense closer to the Earth. Friction causes the rocket to become so hot that it burns up like a small meteor. Once we solve all these problems about space stations, Jane wonders why we couldn't put one on the moon. And we could. You might say that the moon is a ready-made way station in space. The moon is about 240,000 miles away, about as far as 10 trips around the Earth. To get 1,000 miles from the Earth, a rocket would need this much power. To get to the moon, a rocket would need just a little bit more. Landing on the moon will have its problems. The moon has little or no atmosphere, so friction and heat would not be a major problem. But the moon does have a gravity field, although it is not nearly as powerful as the gravity field of the Earth. A spaceship would approach the moon at high speed. Small rockets could be used to turn the base of the ship toward the moon. Other rockets would fire out of the base to slow down the spacecraft so that it could make a safe landing. The surface of the moon is quite different from that of the Earth. it is covered with large pits or craters. These may be places where large meteors collided with the moon in times past. In addition to craters, there are mountains, crevices, plains, and plateaus. During the day, which on the moon is equal to about 2 Earth weeks, the temperature goes over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And during the long 2-week night, it goes as low as about 250 degrees below zero. To escape the extreme temperatures, the moon station would probably be underground, where the temperature remains more moderate. It would need a source of power. Green plants might be used to produce oxygen within the station. The station would have to be sealed to retain its artificial atmosphere. Probably the only parts of the station on the surface would be observation domes, entrance ports, and radio antenna. Taking off from a moon base, a space vehicle would not have to pass through a dense atmosphere. It would only have to pull away from the moon's comparatively weak gravity field. It could then head for Mars. At rocket speed, cruising through the very thin gas that appears to fill space, it would take many months to get to Mars. We would probably find some sort of atmosphere on Mars, but not an atmosphere like our own. If other planets, more like our own, exist, they are unknown planets of other suns far out in the universe. The star or sun nearest to our own is about 25 trillion miles away. It would take far more than a human lifetime to travel this distance at present rocket speeds. We have seen that one problem in reaching space is to escape from the Earth's gravity field. A great amount of energy is required to escape from this pull. Another important problem is re-entering the Earth's atmosphere at low enough speed so that friction is not too great. Too much friction causes too much heat. Man-made space stations in nearby space might go far toward overcoming the effect of gravity. Such stations would orbit the Earth like satellites and could serve as taking-off points for more distant places. The moon might also serve as a way station. A rocket with enough power to pull away from the Earth would require only slightly more energy to carry it to the moon. Small rockets can be used to turn a spacecraft while it is in flight. Braking rockets may serve to slow it down enough to make safe approaches and landings possible. The moon might serve as a taking-off point for other planets in our own solar system. A space vehicle could pull away from the moon's weak gravity field easily enough. From there, man could go on to the other planets. Mars is the one most like our own. Even so, it is doubtful that living things like those we know exist on Mars. If other planets more like our Earth exist, they must be planets of other suns that are trillions of miles away. There is so much we can learn in the universe. It is the frontier of the future. And way stations in space are the stepping stones for its exploration.
I love films like this. This is a way to talk about space science and the difficulties of living in space while thinking about the future and how we're going to navigate being in space. And so I really like films like this. And what's interesting is that this animation, it shows up in a lot of NASA films that are pre-Apollo, that kind of show and explain the concepts of what have to happen to get us into orbit and then to get us past orbit and how to navigate getting to the moon and all that stuff. And it's really, really, really great footage, and it's really great science. It's really, I love it. I dig it. Totally geek out on it. All right, this next film. So on Friday, I showed To Be a Woman. And this next film, I'm going to change the title on it here, is To Be a Man. And look at that frame, the title frame. It's pretty great. Unfortunately, this film is faded, just like the previous one. But here we go. To Be a Man.
$8 to be born.
But these things make a man. That got strong, fierce hat that you wear and the hat that you wear. It's an exterior thing.
If you don't
soldier,
smell good.
Soldiers are brave and don't cry.
When you say them now, they really sound as silly as they are. As far as clothes goes, being a man in clothes changes every season. I mean, because they, you can have a handbag or pocketbook. They're creating a market.
That our masculinity depends on.
I personally have not used any deodorant in over a year.
But a man will give his name if there's money on the game. But you get no boots till the ones you have are worn.
I can't get the point across, but I'm saying, like, whatever you think you're doing to be a man, then you're a man. No matter, to yourself, you're a man. No matter, what anybody else thinks, you're still a man.
They needed a man where the Ganges River ran, and the Cockney cooks were mixing blood and sand. So he stood in the road and prayed till they called off the whole parade, and the bells of freedom rang across his land. Ask Uncle Sam.
I think to be a real man, you have to, it's like someplace in the middle. You won't do stupid things and you won't hurt people, but you get to know people and you try to help them. I think that's really getting to be a man.
They needed a man in old Jerusalem when the holy men were seen in City Hall. When he told them they were free, they nailed him to a tree and buried him secretly outside the wall. What is a man? Ask Uncle Sam.
I think, it might sound corny or stupid, but actions do speak louder than words.
Now you come right out and saying to be a man, you have to do this. I mean, that's wrong. Like, that's what you just said. You said to be a man, you got to contribute by actions, and actions speak louder than words.
I asked, what is a man, on the day my life began. And my mother said these words before I ran. You'll become a man and bleed when a man is what we need. And that's the only way you ever can. What is a man? Ask Uncle Sam. When the clerk says it takes $3 to be born. But a man will give his name when there's real need for the same. But you get no boots till the ones you have are worn. Oh no, you get no boots till the ones you have are worn.
Being a man, I believe, necessarily involves a risk.
You can't just sit back and withdraw into your own world even if this life, it was made not just for happiness, but it was also made for sorrow. And I think the only way you could find both is through contact with other people, through action.
Dope and everything else is just a setback. It stops. It's not yourself. It upsets the balance in your brain. You're just not a person anymore.
This is just one aspect of becoming a man. Like you say, you go to a party, you have somebody over there. I had 10 already. 10 cans. Boy, I'm feeling no pain, you know?
The last 20 years, the pressure on American youth, especially middle-class American youth, has been tremendous to get an education, to succeed. You know, if you're Jewish, you become a doctor. If you're Protestant, you become a lawyer. They might have succeeded, but they don't like it. So what the hell good is it?
If you can't get a feeling in anything you do, whether you like it or you don't like it, because usually when you do something and you don't like it, you get a feeling that, wow, I did that and I didn't really want to do it, but it just moves you, then it's worth doing.
I think if you get a man who has self-control and can think things out and won't step on people, who will respect other people's rights, even if he thinks they're wrong, that I think is a man.
You're driving along on a car. There's a Volkswagen in front of you. You're humiliated because the Volkswagen passes you. You put it down to 80. That makes you a man. You're happy about it.
Manhood is something very deep, personal, and inside. It has to come from your whole being.
I think when you're trying to strive to be a man, or your first attempt's always awkward. They're always to the extremes. Either be, extreme good guy, always in the middle of things, doing stupid stuff, or else you be the extreme loner. You'll be just, you'll be by yourself, and you always scorn everything else.
I think that sums it all up, really. That's the idea of finding yourself. I mean, it's the perfect way of doing it. Just have to go in deep inside yourself to really find out who you are.
You've got to find out what the real feelings are, who you really want to be, what you really want to do, way down in your gut, even though your mother and father and all your friends may say you're crazy. Find that out, and then act on it to the best of your ability.
But I've also started to understand that a man can be a man regardless of where he finds himself.
What is a man? Ask Uncle Sam. When the clerk says it takes $3 to be born.
Worse than that, is that we're taught not to be affectionate to one another because that men have things to fear among themselves. Maybe that's what they're secretly telling us.
Like a friend of mine went to see his brother was moving to Israel for forever. He saw him off on the ship, and he met him later, and he said, I wanted to cry. I couldn't cry. There was my own brother leaving. I might never see him again.
We're taught not to love one another. We're taught not to touch one another. We're taught to spray ourselves with all these things so we don't smell like what we're supposed to smell.
Like most guys are afraid to let their real emotions come out to guys,
I grew up in an environment in an Irish neighborhood what was to be a man was how did you handle yourself in the alley, how much booze I could consume, and possibly how many babes I could make.
They have to prove their masculinity by their sexual prowess. They constantly have to search for another woman to conquer. It's as though they're on an endless search to find their masculinity.
Like you said, people get complexes from it. Say, a kid has a high voice, he's queer. Right away he's queer. It's the big guys you gotta watch out for.
I went to a prom with this girl, and she turned me off. We just had a good time. But when I saw her balancing on the edge of the pool in front of one of these big buildings, right then she turned me on. Just for the idea that she can do this, be herself, anything she wears and everything. Right then, from then on, we had a date.
These two guys talking once, and one guy says, hey, what'd you get off Jane the other day? I heard you were going to the drive-in. He goes, yeah, we went to the drive-in, we saw a Walt Disney movie, and a gentleman never tells.
What is a man? Ask Uncle Sam. When the clerk says it takes $3 to be born. But
it's not going to always be fun this, fun that, we'll laugh over this, do whatever you want as long as it's fun. Because once you're married, it's could be fun, but it could, just like I said, you got to be a husband and a father. You're no longer just the boyfriend.
Like, if you're going out with somebody, you can like a lot of other girls, too, and really like them.
You know, and like you said, making her happy, that's, you know, really giving something to her. You're learning how to live, you know, by being with each other. You're teaching each other. You're learning how to live.
I think if you really do like a girl, you don't. Sometimes you just don't think of the future. You just think about the present. You know, you're having a great time now.
That's when you start becoming a man, I think. When you realize that it's no longer fun and you're not just having a good time together. You got to start talking.
Guy can go along acting like he doesn't care about anything. He may or something, but when you meet a girl or something, she can really make you show how you feel about things. You know, she'll knock out more of those outer shells.
I get an insight of what it is to be a man when I look at my wife, 8 months pregnant, being hustled by 3 young fellas, money stolen from her, shoving and pushing, her tears and then mine. And
now, you know, that old story, when you're 7 years old, you think your father is God, right? When you come 14, your father is a nobody. When you're 21, you realize he's a man.
I don't know. I think my father's a real man. He's he's really like almost everything that I like in a man. Like, you know, he's kind and he's quiet, but he can relate to people. Like, you know, he's everybody you talk to that knows him really likes him. They say he's a real good guy. Because, you know, you go out of your way just to do something for you.
No, just an example of talking about my father. Like you said, when you're 14, you think your father is a man. Well, when I lived in the projects, we had 5 that lived in an apartment. And it wasn't it wasn't bad, but a nice home would be better. Well, the ice cream man would come around, you know? And all the kids would run home and ask their fathers for money for the ice cream man. These kids enjoyed their ice cream when I didn't. You know, I thought, boy, if I had Mr. Gallagher for my father, I'd get ice cream right now. My father doesn't want to hand out the money. These kids are still having their ice cream in the projects. I'm having my ice cream in my home now.
Yeah.
That's just an example of what he knew in the back of his mind, you know? He had to hold off and maybe look like a rat sometimes, but in the long run, you're going to come out okay.
When I was a little boy, my father was a peddler, and he used to go around with this little truck, and he used to yell out, peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here. Hey, peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here. And I used to go with my father sometimes, and he'd let me sit in the driver's seat, and I'd make believe I was driving. I'd pick up the soda bottles, and he used to talk to me, and he used to say, son, I want you to go to school, and I want you to be better than I am. But so that I could go to school, he went around with his little truck. Peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here. Hey, peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here. And there's one thing I know is that someday they're going to line up all the great men. All the great men, the ones you read about and hear about. But all the great men in a big bunch. And my father's going to be there with a little sign that says, line forms right here. And it's been a great help to me, really. Because whenever I get wrapped up in what people think, and I'm worried more about what people think than what I really am. And we all do that sometimes, you know. We all worry more about what people think than what we really are. Sometimes. But whenever I worry about what people think, sometimes I'm walking down the street, I'm on an elevator, or I'm sitting on a bus. People think I'm kind of nuts. But I stand up and I say peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here. Hey, peanuts and Coca-Cola, hot dogs and any kind of soda, line forms right here.
So this is definitely more comparable. This is comparable to Be a Woman that we watched on Friday. Just as hippy-dippy and semi-animated. But it's interesting. It's a look at how men viewed what it was like to be a man at that time period and asks questions. And because it was like, in the 70s, so it was beginning this kind of pivot to something else, the traditional man isn't just the sole person who is providing for the family, that the wife is also doing that. And it's kind of that weird change in dynamic. But, yeah, interesting. But yes, very hippy-dippy. Very hippy-dippy. All right. Now, here's going to be a shock to your system. This film is Canadian and is, I think it was made in the 80s and has really horrible songs. And the puppets are mediocre. And there seems to be, I don't know, something that is sexual but really shouldn't be sexual. I don't know. Anyways, this is Riding Cool to School. And this is a question I asked, I think, on Friday. It was like, when did young kids feel that being cool was okay, was like the thing to be? When did that happen? Was that in the 70s? You know, like what was that turning point to where suddenly kids are like, I want to be cool. That's a reason for me to follow the rules. So here's Riding Cool to School.
Pizzas aren't allowed in school.
What? You mean my teacher doesn't like tempting pepperoni? With beautiful mushrooms?
Nope.
Little green peppers?
Not even those.
Oh, you can't mean that.
You can't eat during class, Jimmy Joe. You're going to school to learn, not to eat.
Well, how about a pot roast? Hot dog with mustard?
Negative.
Jelly beans?
Not in this continent.
Would you settle for blackjack bubblegum?
No. What was that?
Oh, that's my alarm clock. I gotta be going because I gotta catch the bus. I don't want to be late.
Jimmy Joe, where are you going with the pizza? You forgot your school books. He forgot his school books.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here they come. First day of school, yelling and screaming. My stomach. Oh, I need some Pepto-Bismol. Relax, dearie. Relax. Oh, this year things are going to be different. All the boys and girls are going to do things right this year, as sure as Miss Faye's my name and bus driving's my game. Oh, I can see it all now. I feel a vision coming on. Okay, Charlie, cue the dream and find me an announcer real quick.
Hi, Miss Faye. I'm Bruce.
Hey, kid. You pant real well. Now let's hear your voice.
Sure thing, Miss Faye. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white.
All right. Don't overdo it, kid. You'll do just fine. Roll it, Charlie. Hit it, Lucy, baby.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in Miss Faye's dream. A dream where all the children follow the school bus safety rules. Always leave home with enough time to get to the bus stop before the bus arrives. And always go straight to the bus stop. It's not a good idea to cut through empty lots or back alleys.
That's right, Brucey baby. Back alleys and empty lots can be very dangerous. Don't forget the strangers, Brucey.
Yes, and you should never accept a ride from a stranger, not even if you miss the bus. Another thing you should remember is to walk single file on the left side of the road if there isn't any sidewalk. That way you can watch the oncoming cars.
Oh, yeah, and walk off the side of the road where you can't get hit by a car.
Thank you, Miss Faye.
Any time, Brucey baby, any time.
Once you get to the bus stop, you should always line up away from the road. But be careful not to step on anyone's garden. You've got to be pretty orderly at the bus stop, because if there's any pushing or shoving when the bus pulls up, someone could get hurt, or even fall under the wheels of the bus.
Oh, Brucey, that's just too terrible to think of.
I know, Miss Fay. That's why you should always line up nice and calm, and let the little kids get on first, so no one gets hurt.
Okay, cut the dream, Charlie. Brucey, baby, I gotta think about that for a while. And thinking always makes me hungry. Hey, kid, you wanna peel me a grape?
Sure thing. And how about an avocado?
Hi, Heather. My name's JJ. How old are you?
7.
You go to school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you take the school bus?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the first thing you gotta remember when you're getting to the bus stop?
Go straight there, not through any alleys or empty lots.
No, you don't want to go through any alleys or empty lots because you might step on some bottles and cut your foot, right?
Right.
Yeah. And what else?
Don't take rides from strangers.
Well, that's the most important rule of all. Hey, that's terrific. Yeah, and do you know that if there isn't a sidewalk to walk on when you're going to the bus stop, what must you remember?
Walk on the left side,
Why's that?
'cause you can see if the cars are coming to you.
That's right. And what should you do when you get to the bus stop? Always line up away from the road. That's right. And be careful not to step on anyone's what?
Feet.
No, on the flowers. Or the lawn, right? Because
Right.
people plant all the nice flowers, and you don't want to damage them, right?
Right.
And then, and one more thing. What else? At the bus stop, no pushing.
No pushing.
No, because someone might get hurt. You did just terrific. Give me a kiss, will you? Oh, yeah, let me give you one.
There's nothing like fresh peeled grapes to help the thinking process.
Mm-hmm. And avocados, too. How about your dream, Miss Fay? The kids and the school bus safety rules.
Oh, yeah, gotta get back to my dream. Roll the dream, Charlie. Take it away, Brucey, baby.
Thank you, Miss Fay. You should always remember not to run or shove when you're getting on the school bus. Use the handrail if you can, and step up quickly and go straight to your seat.
Pushing and shoving means someone could fall down and get hurt.
Yes, and when you're seated, you've got to remember to keep your arms and legs to yourself. Never out in the aisles or out open windows. You should never throw books or food around the bus either. What if you hit the driver with something?
Instant accident, that's what.
And food. You shouldn't eat on the school bus because...
Oh, heavens, no. Salami and chopped egg sandwiches do not go with the smell of my eau de cologne. And besides, someone could sit on your banana.
Yuck. Oh, and one of the most important things is not to scream and yell, especially when the driver comes to intersections. Too much noise can make the driver nervous.
I always think a little quiet conversation is so much more cozy. I feel a song coming on. I gotta do a little shantoozin'. Kid, this is gonna curl your hair. Taking it cool is riding it safe. Taking it cool is riding it safe. Taking the school bus and riding it right gets you there safely, and that's out of sight. Learn all the rules to keep you cool. Ride by the rules, and you know that you'll be riding it cool, riding it safely, riding it cool, riding it safely. Ooh, you're doing just fine. Well, kid, ain't I great?
I'm speechless.
Heather, we're going to go over the bus riding rules. Do you know some of them?
Step up quickly and find your seat.
And use the handrail. right?
Right.
And then after you're seated, what happens?
Keep your arms and legs off the aisle.
That's right, because someone might trip and fall and get hurt, right?
Right.
And what do you do with your books and your lunch?
Don't throw your books because you might hit the driver.
Or one of the other children, right?
Right.
And your food that you have in the lunch bag or in the lunch pail?
Don't eat it on the bus, eat it at the school.
Right. And one of the most important things is not to what? Scream.
Because if you're at an intersection, you might get the driver
Scared.
scared.
Yeah, and take his concentration from driving, and then he might get in an accident, right? So
Right.
those are the bus riding rules, and you did very, very well, and I think that I deserve another kiss. Come on, give me a kiss.
We're coming up to the tricky part here, Brucey. Can you handle it?
You've got to be careful getting off the school bus. Always wait until it stops before you leave your seat. The bus could lurch and you'd fall.
And no pushing and shoving.
That's right. If you let the kids in front off first, it will go much faster and safer. When you step down, hold the handrail so you don't fall. If you have to cross the road, go up about 10 feet in front of the bus, then look both ways all the way across. Then go directly to the schoolyard or go straight home the same way you came.
Cut it, Charlie. You did just fine.
There's another set of rules that we're going to talk about, and that is getting off the school bus, okay? Do you know what they might be?
Wait until the bus is stopped.
That's right. And then you can leave your seat, right? Okay. And what must you not do when you're getting off the school bus?
Push and shove.
Never, never, never. And you must always what? Remember to?
Let the kids at front go first.
That's right. Oh, that's good too. You're remembering these rules. And then when you step down, what's the one thing that helps you?
The handrail.
That's the same handrail that was there when you got on, right?
Right.
Yeah, sure. And then if you have to cross the road, where do you go first?
10 feet ahead of the bus.
And what's the reason for that?
So you can see around the bus and see what's coming.
And who helps you sometimes to tell you when to cross?
The bus driver.
You watch him. We don't want anyone to get hurt. And then, what do?
Go straight to the school.
That's right. No playing on the way. Go right to school. That's why you came. And Heather, I want to thank you. You're just a terrific, terrific girl. And you're my friend. And I'm going to let you give me a kiss. Can I give you some more kisses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what we're supposed to be doing.
Just do as I do.
Can I bring my piece of pie?
No! Get rid of it!
You gotta line up single file. You gotta stay back from the road.
Oh, yeah.
You never push and never crowd. Take care, man, care, and not too loud.
You gotta let the big bus stop. You gotta go right to your seat. You never run and never shout. Take care, man, care until you're out.
Stop, stop, stop. Then you can look all around. Think. When you act and you know you'll be safe now.
You gotta keep your head inside. You gotta keep your arms in two.
Oh, yeah.
You never fight and never throw. Take care, man, care, and take it slow.
Gotta let the big bus stop. You gotta let the front off first.
Sure thing.
You never rush and never run. Take care, man, care until it's done.
Stop. Then you can look all around. Think. When you act and you know you'll be safe now. Oh, yeah.
I love it. This is great.
You gotta always cross in front. You gotta look both left and right.
That's right.
You never run and never skip. Take care, man, care, so you won't trip.
You gotta know the safety rules. You gotta use them all the time. You never shirk and never fail. Take care, man, care, and that's my tale.
Oof. That film. That's Beacon Films. And they also did that Let's Find Something Better to Do. Was the really weird owl police officer costume. And, you know, and listening to this this time around, being very awkwardly aware that the bus driver is trying to do Mae West. And Mae West was this wonderful double entendre speaking actress who everything is kind of sexual with her. And so the fact that this bus driver is doing Mae West, the whole thing about sitting on a banana, there's all these other things that are just like, ooh, ugh, ooh. And, you know, little kids are not going to get it. Adults might get it, and they might just kind of be scratching their head, but yikes. And then when the character starts singing, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry. All right, here's some animation to hopefully cleanse the palate a little bit. It's called Unicycle Races. So that was pretty great. That was Robert Swarth, who I posted a link on in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. He basically was an animator who also did special effects work for with Douglas Trumbull on Close Encounters and one of the Star Trek movies, and was nominated for Academy Award for another film he did called Kick Me, which I think I have. Maybe I'll try to hunt that down this week. Anyways, kind of a fun break from bad puppets singing bad songs. Yeah. All right. What else we got coming up here? Excuse me. So occasionally we show a film that's not meant for general audience consumption, and this is an example of a film that was made for salesmen, specifically for salesmen. So it's goofy. It's a little jokey. And it's got a hidden meaning, which is a hidden agenda, which is it's trying to sell Seagram's gin. It's called Seagram's Nightmare. There's not really a title. It was something that was found on eBay. It's a very odd thing for a very specific niche market. So here's Seagram's Nightmare.
What's the matter with you?
What was it? What was it?
What was what?
Whatever it was.
Whatever what was?
Harry, you screamed at it. I only screamed at you screaming at it.
Oh, for God's sake, Doris, I was having a nightmare.
A nightmare?
Yes. Yes, I was in this dark room. And there was cobwebs and water. And there was green slime oozing off the walls.
Oh, disgusting, Harry.
Yes. It was dark and dingy, and I think there were skeletons. Skeletons, yes! And I was chained to this case of Seagram's 7 Crown. And all of a sudden, there came in a lunatic waving an umbrella. A fiend.
Who was it?
Albert.
Albert, a fiend?
Yes. Albert. And there was blood dripping off of his hands. It was terrible. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to sleep. Good night.
What do you want?
What?
The fiend. What did he want?
Fiend?
Yes, dear, the one with the umbrella that looked like Albert.
No. He didn't look like Albert. It was Albert. Yeah. It was a terrible nightmare. There he was, spending my money like it was water.
Oh, I'm sure Albert wouldn't do a thing like that.
Yes, he did. And he kept insisting that I give him a 7 Crown pour. And as if that wasn't enough, he wanted me to put it on the back bar, too.
So?
So? What do you mean, so? If he had his way, the whole bar would be littered with 7 Crown. Thousands of bottles of it, millions maybe, mountains of the stuff.
Oh, go to sleep.
Sleep? How can I sleep? With Albert pelting me with 7 Crown, popping up in my nightmares, like a ghoul, behind my bar, fiddling with the bottles. I keep it in the speed rack. What more does he want?
He wants you to put it on the back bar.
Oh. How the hell do you know that? It was my nightmare, not yours.
You just told me that that's what he wanted.
So?
So, put it on the back bars. That's all he wants.
Absolutely not.
You keep it on the fast shelf?
Speed rack, Doris. Speed rack.
Well, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, because people ask for it, that's why. Lots of people ask for it, that's why.
Why?
Well, because it is the most popular, that's why.
Why?
Well, because it is the best damned whiskey around.
So we'll put it on the back bar.
We'll put it on the back bar. We will put it on the back bar. Where do you get this we stuff? That bar is mine. Mine. M-Y-N-E, mine. Not yours, not Albert's. It'll go on the back bar when I say it goes on the back bar.
Okay. Have it your own way. You'll put it on the back bar.
I'll put it on the back bar. Now, good night. No, I won't put it on the back bar. I won't put it on the back bar because it's in the speed rack now, exactly where it should be. Who cares where it is anyway?
Nobody cares if nobody asks for it.
Right.
Because lots of people ask for it, that's why. All the time. Who just said that? So big deal. What happens if you put it on the back bar?
Well, people see it and ask for it.
Well, don't you make more money that way?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's all that space. There's a lot of space around there. I don't know. It's a lot of space.
What?
I said it takes up too much space.
What does?
If everybody asked for 2 bottles open, one on the back bar and one in the speed rack, I wouldn't have room for customers.
Yes, there would be, if you dumped the junk. It's like the garage.
The garage? What the hell has a garage got to do with this?
If you threw out all the broken lawnmowers, empty cans, old golf clubs, bent bicycle wheels out of the garage, you'd have room for the things you really need.
Like what, for instance?
How about the car for a start?
Very funny. Very funny. But for your information, I don't sell junk. Prestige brands I carry. P-R-E-S, prestige.
Pretty shaped bottles, collecting dust, D-U-S-T, that's what you carry.
If you cannot carry on a normal and civilized conversation, there is simply no more to be said.
Civilized, normal people don't carry on any kind of conversation at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I wish you a fond good evening. I hope you have a nice sleep. But as for myself, I'm going to have a snack.
Do you remember my friend Myrtle?
No, I do not know her. I've never met her, and already I'm sick of her.
Well,
I'm not interested in your friend Myrtle.
under her blue jeans,
Now I'm interested.
she wears red silk panties that cost $30.
No kidding.
She reminds me of you.
Doris, I do not wear, I have never worn, nor do I ever intend to wear anything resembling red silk panties under blue jeans or not.
No, dear. But you do have a habit of taking the best brand and sticking it out of sight on your quick plate.
Speed rack. You know, the trouble with you, Doris, is you don't know what you're talking about. You have no sense of logic, no sense of order. Now, just because 7 Crown is the most asked for brand, just because 7 Crown has the best advertising of any brand in the country, just because 7 Crown has the best display pieces in the country, and just because Albert says that 7 Crown sells 8 million cases a year, well...
8 million a lot?
Well, 8 million cases of a prestige brand.
Prestige?
Prestige, big deal, big deal.
It is a big deal. Prestige. P-R-E-S-T-I-G-E. Noun from the Latin prestigium, plural prestigia. 1. Estimation or standing in people's eyes. 2. Weight or credit in general opinion. 3. Commanding position in men's minds. Synonym, see influence. Webster, 7th New Collegiate Dictionary, 1963.
I am so sick of your friends, Myrtle and Webster. Do they own a bar, too? I still ain't gonna put it on the back bar.
That's what I like about you. Logical to the death. Good night.
Good night. Albert, this is Harry. Now, I want you to listen very carefully. Most important, don't tell me it's the middle of the night. I know it is, but it has nothing to do with what I'm going to say. Now, I've had an argument with Doris, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. She keeps going on about the garage and red silk panties. But anyway, I've decided that in spite of what she says, I'm going to go all out. I want another couple of cases of 7 Crown, and I want all the trimmings, bar pieces, pedestals, the works. I'm not only going to have 7 Crown in the speed rack, I'm going to put a bottle on each end of the bar and one right next to the cash register. People are going to know that when they come to my place, they get the best. Albert? Hello?
I'll be happy to give him the message. I know he'll love you for this.
Who is this?
I do.
Where's Albert?
Oh, this is his mother speaking. Good night.
Albert's got a mother? And I thought he was hatched.
Ah! All right. So it's basically Doris and Seagram's. Doris is the voice of Seagram's, and Doris is saying, look, you have it in your speed rack, which is not visible for your customers, but it's requested a lot. But if you also put it in the bar behind and give it visibility and then also promote it, you'll sell even more of it. And if you get rid of the junk that you have that's not really selling, it won't be a problem. It took me multiple times and thinking about my friends who work in bars to realize what this film was about. And that's David Huddleston, who's in lots and lots and lots of things, but most notably Blazing Saddles. So, yeah, there you go. That was meant for bar owners and liquor distributors and is hilarious. Thank you to Amy and William for donating some coffee to the AV Geeks cause, in spite of the torture I've been putting people through with Canadian puppets singing about how cool it is to follow rules, and hippie men talking about what it's like to be a man. I mean, I put you guys through a lot of torture, so I appreciate any kind gesture of coffee, or even a simple like, tapping the little button to like. I should say, given some news about Facebook, it's impending not letting live music stream, that could negatively impact AV Geeks because we play, as you know, we just played a couple of films that had songs in them. Now, are they registered with somebody somewhere? Who knows? But the algorithm might not even be looking for copyrights. They just might be slamming anything that has music on it. I've read a couple of things that lead me to believe that this could potentially happen. So I'm going to keep going on Facebook until the hammer comes down. But ultimately, I might be routing Facebook people to YouTube. YouTube is a big party over there, guys. Or Twitch, or somewhere else, because this is not going to work. If I get enough strikes or whatever, they might just knock me off of Facebook, and that might be the final death blow to Facebook. I might just have to go somewhere else. Take my films and go somewhere else. But I'll keep going as long as I can. But it might be something that, as we get closer to October 1st, I might start putting alternative links on Facebook because they are too lazy to really figure out how to enforce music copyright and be smart about it. So there you go. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. We'll watch some more films. Guaranteed, because there's so many. I got so many. It's crazy. But everybody have a good rest of your Monday, and I will talk to you soon. As always, what we find inside of film cans teaches us more than what's often on the film, so please rewind and love each other. and I will see you soon.